You on? Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to tonight's regular meeting of the Freeport City Council. February 3rd at 6 p.m. I declare that there is a quorum present. At this time, I would like to ask Councilman Rosso to lead us in the prayer and the pledge.
Let's pray. Gracious Father, we thank you for another opportunity to come together tonight to make some decisions. We ask you to bless this council, bless the people that's involved, bless the people out in the cyber world. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Thank you, and you may be seated. At this time, we will start with citizens' comments. The first one on my desk is Mr. Sam Reyna.
Mayor, Council, good evening. My name is Sam Reyna, and I reside at 2002 North Avenue G. I'm going to talk about this, the TERS, the downtown TERS. Kelty had brought that up when it was first approved, the DT, and the area that he told us that was going to be the TERS area was from 8th Street all the way down to the waterfront, down towards on 2nd Street, down to Velasco, over the bridge on Avenue 8 to the right, all the way to the railroad tracks. And that was the TERS area. Well, this one here, it shows different. Now, which one is right? This one here shows all the way down to the Brazos River banks. That's 530 acres. So which one is right? What Kelty had told us, down to Velasco and back to the bridge, to the tracks, or is this one here, the one you're looking at? And on that Mary Waste, the photo that I had seen you last time, they went ahead and picked up some heavy waste, sofas and chairs and fridge, but they left all the bulky trash behind, tree limbs, and they're not picking it up. And it's just piling up. I don't know what it's going to take because they're breaching their contract. As a matter of fact, they're supposed to be supplying all the equipment to do the job according to the agreement. Well, I'm hoping that my President Trump and Greg Abbott and Tom Homan send all American Waste equipment to Guatemala, Mexico. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Nicole Morales.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Guys, Nicole Mireles, 2002 North Avenue G. I just have a quick comment. I had a call a couple of weeks ago from a citizen. I don't know why they call me, but y'all know why, I guess. But nonetheless, one of the things that was brought to my attention, which I haven't really paid attention until it was brought up to me, is that the city has bought several new police cars that are not being used. I mean, question is, why are they just sitting there? And their concern, one of the concerns that was brought up to me and is that, you know, we're paying insurance on them, we're paying the whatever liability or whatever we have on them. And I mean, why are they sitting there? Is there a reason? Are they not working? Are they brand new or not? I would appreciate it. I'll do an open meeting request, but one of the things is why? Why are they just sitting there? And I did go take a picture. I did see them over there because I didn't even pay attention. I didn't even know they're sitting there. But I just thought I'd bring it up to y'all's attention because that's taxpayers' money. That's some of my money. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, we have Mr. James Schaefer. I see that, Mr. Schaefer, I see you had put on here that you wanted to speak about 4C. Would you like to wait for that?
Yeah, I would.
All right, we'll wait. You might have to remind me when we get there. Put that back here. Now. All right, next on our agenda is the consent agenda. We have two items on the consent agenda. Item 2A is action regarding the minutes of the January 6th, 2025 meeting, and item number 2B, action approving the updated meeting policy of the Freeport branch of the Brazoria County Library System. So, council, I will entertain a motion.
Mayor, I'm going to make a motion. I'd like to remove 2B and talk about that in regular business, but make a motion to approve 2A as presented.
We have a motion to approve 2A, which is the meeting minutes from the January 26th meeting. Do I have a second?
Yeah, I'll second.
We have a second by Councilman Rosso. I'll call the vote. All those in favor state aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Now we'll go to 2B. All right, we found 2B. Is Mr. Bobby Edge here? Can you step up front, please?
Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Can you tell us a little bit about the updated policy that we're voting upon tonight?
The main thing I can say is that it was intended to kind of broaden. It's for all the libraries branches in the system in the county, and it was broadened to include some areas that different branches have that are not. They're not in the building, but they are associated with it, and so that was the main reason for the change. So that's why it says a meeting area versus a meeting room.
Okay. Councilman Matamoros, you have a question for him?
So is it just meeting area? Is that what's being changed, or are there other items within this document that's being changed?
There were other items. I don't remember them exactly off the top of my head. But there are a few like small scale changes, I think, on the details.
Okay,
But again, like the main impetus was that there are some branches that have spaces that didn't currently fall under the meeting room policy, and so it was kind of broadened a bit to incorporate those.
okay. And this is a document that was written up by, I guess, a county attorney, or was this written up by you?
This is being added to the county library policy, to the library systems policy, and so it was drawn up by the library system, but I believe it was run through. I believe it was run through the commissioners already.
Okay,
Yeah, county commissioners.
okay.
Mhm.
That's all I have.
Council, does anyone else have any questions? Hearing none, I will call the vote. I'll ask for a motion.
Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the updated meeting policy as presented.
We have a motion to approve by Councilman Matamoros. Is there a second?
Yeah, I'll second it.
A second by Councilman, Davis. I'll call the vote. All those in favor state aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Next, we have proclamations and presentations and updates. Chief Howell.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. So for the month of December, which we would have presented in January, but due to the weather closure, we're just now getting to present it. I had nominated Detective David Fernandez, and this is what I wrote regarding Detective Fernandez. He's been with the Freeport Police Department since 2009. When he started on patrol, it became apparent to people that he had many other talents outside the scope of your average patrol officer. David began taking on additional tasks and responsibilities such as IT work, CJIS protocols, and grants. When I arrived at the end of 2022, David was working on a number of projects such as updating the building generator for the PD, was constantly looking for ways to get the PD better equipment with little to no effect on our budget. Many of these projects were made possible by grants that not only David had applied for, but he was overseeing the project as well. Although David is not actively patrolling, he serves our community in other capacities. However, he still continues to monitor what's going on in our city, and he does not hesitate to throw on his vest and jump into a unit to help out citizens. He attends many of our community events and is willing to do anything from putting on the Paw Patrol costume to helping someone understand their security system or their cell phones. In 2024, David obtained an impressive $568,241 in grant money that allowed the PD to update and upgrade equipment. These grants included new body armor, bulletproof shields, vehicle radios, dispatch radios, in-car cameras, body-worn cameras, just to name a few. These items provided officers with better safety, security, and communication, which in return reduces liability for the city and the community. David is our behind-the-scenes guy who is willing to do it all. He is a team player, innovative, and goes above and beyond for the work that he does. And that's why he was nominated for Employee of the Month. And I'm like, where did he go? And of course, he's back there. He's also very shy, too.
I'm not that sure.
Yes.
Well, thank you.
right, Chief, next we have a presentation for the annual T-Cole.
Yes, sir. So as required by the Texas Commission of Law Enforcement, we have an annual racial profiling report that is submitted. I've provided here for you and everything some base information to start. Of course, this report's generated in compliance with the Texas Code of Criminal Procedure, and provides the chapter and article for that information, in addition to the Freeport Police Department Internal Policy 2.2 on bias-based policing. We updated this policy in 2024. It's in line with the Texas Police Chiefs Association best practice accreditation standards. And then to follow, I've provided the information reports provided by Brazos Technology, and then some statistical data that went from 2021 through 2024, and then some data graphs as well, just for comparative analysis. Overall and everything, did show that, as far as for the police department, all of our numbers and stats were pretty standard from 2021 through 2024. If anyone had any questions on anything. We are just required per T-Cole to present this to council as a part of our annual submission.
Council, do you have any questions for Chief Howell? Hearing none. Thank you, Chief, once again. It's a very detailed report. We appreciate that.
To follow behind that, we have also included in everything the Texas Police Chiefs Association analysis report that provides information over use of force, pursuits, vehicle accidents, and any type of employee injuries and accidents as well. Again, not an action item, but just something that is presented to council, and then if they have any questions or concerns over.
Thank you. Council, do you have any questions over the TPCA analysis?
No, sir.
Seeing none, we'll move on. We have one upcoming event, which is going to take place on February 14th at 6 p.m. till 8:30, and that's Daddy Daughters Dance. It'll be at River Place. Tickets at City Hall? At where?
The rec center.
Okay,
The rec
you can get tickets at the rec center. George,
Yes,
we expect you to be there.
yes.
All right, agenda item, excuse me, 4A, consideration and possible action by City Council approving the sale of property located at Block 70, Lot 4 of the Velasco Town Site, and approving the city attorney to draft a deed and the mayor to sign and city secretary to attest to such deed.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening, Ms. Kramer.
Mr. David Ellis has made an offer to purchase Block 70, Lot 4 in the Velasco Town Site. The property is located next to property he currently owns in the 200 block of South Avenue H. Mr. Ellis currently owns lots 1 through 3, and Lot 2 he purchased from us back in May of 2024. An appraisal has been completed for the property and was valued at $1,237. The subject property is at the end of South Avenue H right-of-way. The buyer is aware that there's no city services on the property or access with road.
Council, I will entertain a motion. Do we have a motion on this, council?
I make a motion that we accept.
To approve?
I'm sorry,
That's-
approve.
We have a motion to approve by Councilman Rosso. Is there a second? I will second it.
No.
All right, Councilman Davis, you want a second on
Yeah,
that?
sir.
Any discussion? Any questions or comments on this, gentlemen?
Yes, I have some.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Kramer, looking at our our packet, it stated that this appraisal was paid for by Mr. Ellis. Did the city get an appraisal for this?
No.
Okay. And the reason I'm asking is, May of 2024, we sold him a lot for $5,500. If you look at Brazoria County Appraisal District, this lot is valued at $5,860. So why are we not selling it to him for $5,860?
Well, I thought that the appraisal last year was it said $400. He's here if we have questions, but was it $400? It was $400 we sold it to him.
So, no, we didn't. It wasn't 400. Because if you also look within his appraisal, it states $5,500.
What page of his appraisal are you looking at?
It is,
Does it have page numbers? Oh, yes, it does.
hold on. It is on page 40, well, it's page 3 of his appraisal,
Page
but it's
3.
on page 44 of our packet, so the rest of council.
I don't know that this is the property that we sold him. This is just a comparable listings, I think, of property that has sold, not necessarily our sale to him.
So when I was going back to look, it did show for $5,500, well, through our records. But like I said, Brazoria County Appraisal District states that this property is worth $5,860.
Okay.
And so I would not be comfortable selling it for $1,237, especially with his appraisal. Because
Okay.
we've seen, you can get an appraisal to read almost whatever you want it to. And so I'm curious as to why we didn't get an appraisal ourselves if we were interested in selling this.
What we've been typically doing is having whoever the purchaser is the one that's been getting the appraisal and paying for it.
I thought we would get an appraisal and put it into the price.
We have, but that has been years ago that we did that.
Well, I don't feel comfortable selling it for $1,237 when Brazoria County Appraisal says it's worth $5,860. And that's every property that we've been selling to other people. We've been using that as our guide.
And I think one reason that this is lower is that there's no road access to it. There's no water. It's at the end of a jungled road.
People are purchasing properties just like that and paying the exact same price as what Brazoria County
Okay.
Appraisal District
Yes, sir.
is stating. So, yeah, I don't feel comfortable for selling that property at that price.
Okay.
Council, any other questions or comments?
Yeah, I got a couple of questions.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Kramer, thank you for putting this stuff together, this package together here. You know, I'm curious, you know, we're talking about the property that was purchased previously. Was it the same size,
Yes.
exact same size?
Yes.
And did it have any utilities or any access to it?
It's
as well?
exactly the same. It's literally 2 lots. He purchased lot 2 previously. Now he's purchasing lot 4.
And we got an appraisal the last time
He did the appraisal last time.
as well?
Also.
Yeah, I'm unclear as to whether or not the tax record on this property is the one that's being correctly referenced. Can we verify that?
The one that Mr. Mattermorris was referring to?
Yes.
Not standing here right now, but I had looked it up and I had made a note that I went back to my memo from May of 2024 that had all that stuff on it, and I wrote that it was $400, and we had approved it on May the 20th, 2024.
So that property ID, can we look it up? Somebody here, I don't know, I usually have pretty sketchy internet access. I'd be curious to see what it is here. Anybody have Wi-Fi to pull up that record and that address to see what the record actually states? If it's at the 5,000 level, as was-
For Brazoria County Appraisal
Yeah, yeah,
District?
yeah.
It may be, because, you know, we had that one piece of property that we were trying to sell. It was a resale that had jumped from like, I don't know, something very low, 1,000 to like 11,000 or something. It was quite a big jump
Yeah.
from like 2022, 2023.
Well, certainly, we want to get the most objective and fair price for the property. So I'm not sure when the last time the city got an appraisal for a property that we sold. I just know that it's certainly been a very important issue for myself when we're looking at properties that have been sold through the city or through even the EDC. And so I would like to see an appraisal done by the city if. in
So
fact-
you'd like to see us order the appraisal? Absolutely, we can do that.
I mean, but I know there's a motion on the floor. I don't know if we want to revise it or table it or vote on it.
I have a question. Was this a true appraisal, or is it a broker's opinion?
This is a true appraisal, correct?
It was a true appraisal.
True appraisal.
It should say on it, let me double
Well,
check.
it's not, because the lady who did it is not an appraiser, she's a broker.
Okay.
Okay, then that's a BPO, which isn't a bona fide appraisal.
And I do have Brazoria County's appraisal for this property on my iPad, showing the market value because it shows 4 lots. Block 70, Lot 2, 4, 1921, market value of $23,440. Property ID is 260117. And then I also have Lot 5, that's right beside it, same thing, one single 25-foot lot for $58.60. So, yeah, I can show it to anybody who needs to be able to see it. But again, I would like to get an appraisal that way.
We can certainly order our own appraisal.
Is there any time sensitivity to this particular purchase by the? Okay. I'm just wondering if this doesn't mean also that we create a policy so that going forward, this confusion doesn't happen. Or maybe there's a way we can streamline it. Maybe we say, hey, whatever the county record says.
That's a discussion we could have.
Yeah,
Versus an appraisal on the property?
whichever's higher.
So currently, we have a motion on the floor and a second, and I am hearing that council would like to table this. So, Councilman Rosso, you okay with withdrawing your motion? Councilman Davis?
Yeah, I withdraw it.
All right. With that, we will table this item. And let's get a accurate,
Sure. I'll be glad to order
all right.
an appraisal.
Thank you, ma'am. Agenda item 4B, consideration and possible action by city council approving the utility easements. Ms. Kramer.
Yes, sir. In the 1950s, the city gained possession of 10-foot easements along the east side of navigation by deed filed with the county clerk. Utility easements are needed for the installation of the relocated lift station number 1, gravity wastewater improvements to maintain to affected users, and a water line extension to connect existing water lines at 5th and Navigation and 2nd and Navigation, travel within our 10-foot road easements. Approval of this item will allow for the sewer easements to the new lift station and upstream gravity wastewater lines.
Council, I will entertain a motion.
Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the utility easements as presented.
We have a motion to approve by Councilman Matamoros. Is there a second? Councilman Davis, I'm going to second it if, I'm going to second it so we can have discussion while Councilman Davis trying to find it on the iPad. Does anybody have any questions or comments on this for Ms. Kramer? Hearing none, I will call the vote. All those in favor state aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you. Agenda item 4C, Mr. Schaefer.
Council, Mr. Mayor, my name's James Schaefer, and we own the property, used to be known as Captain Elliott's Charter Fishing. Right now, we're in the, we were notified by the Texas General Land Office that we needed to remove pilings from old piers that used to be located on our property. So we had contracted a J&S Construction to remove these pilings. So far, they pulled about 36 out of the 63, 65 pilings that needed to be pulled. We still have a boathouse to remove and some more pilings that are sticking up out of the water. Now, we asked for a temporary building to be on site because there's more pilings that from old docks that had been removed years and years ago that are submerged. And we're gonna have to perform diving operations to locate these pilings and to pull them out to make sure that they're not a hazard to navigation on the Old Brazos River. So when the divers go out and dive in the river and they come out, they need to go into this temporary building and take a shower. So we have a shower and a toilet and all that stuff in there so the divers can clean up after they get done diving. And we originally, I thought we were asking for a 6-month period for the building to be there, but turned out we got permission for 90 days. Well, it took us over 90 days just to get electricity to the building. And so we're actually having to frame out the building and put in all the utilities, the electric, the plumbing, kind of like building a house, and we're still not done constructing the building, so our time has almost elapsed where we have to move the building, but we haven't even started using the building yet. And we haven't started diving operations yet because our project got delayed because J&S Construction, their tugboat that pushes their barge with the crane on it had to go in for Coast Guard inspection, and then they said that the tugboat needed plate steel replaced on the bottom of it, so it's in the shipyard getting worked on. And so the plan was once they pull the pilings that are sticking up out of the water and J&S moves off site, then we're going to start diving operations with sonar and divers to locate any underwater hazards and remove them. So basically, we're not done with the building yet, and J&S has to pull all the pilings that are sticking up out of the water and get those out of the way so we can do our sonar scans and our diver searches and rig up to the ones that could be a potential hazard, and put a cable around them. And then once we have them all marked and buoyed off, J&S Construction will come back to the facility and pull the pilings out. So we're asking for a 1-year extension for our temporary building.
You hit that 4 minutes right on the nose. 1-year extension. Are you saying 1 year from today or 1 year from 90 days ago?
From today, if possible.
Owners request an extension from original 90-day timeline to 1 year. Well, council, we can make that decision on how we want to word that. Thank you very much for what you're doing, and thank you for coming up here and talking to us tonight.
Thank you.
So council, this gentleman is asking for a 1-year extension. Personally, the little building that they're using is not an eyesore as far as I'm concerned. Well, we'll talk about that after we get a motion. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve 12 months from today.
Councilman Pena has made a motion to approve to increase it 1 year from today. Is there a second?
I'll second that motion.
Second by Councilman Matamoros. Councilors, any questions or comments?
Yeah, Mayor, I actually have a question here for city staff, Shelby Araujo, to answer a couple of questions, if possible. Is everything in compliance to date as far as the structure out there and everything related to the project?
Yes, as in terms that we've actually already gone out and performed multiple inspections. They are currently in their rough stages. Recently, last week, they actually just passed their plumbing rough inspection, so they are getting proper inspections on it.
Okay. Any red tags?
None, not so yet.
Great. I don't have any further questions. Thank you.
Council, anyone else? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor state aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, gentlemen. Agenda item 4D, consideration and possible action approving resolution number 2025-2903, appointing members to the Freeport Historical Commission and Main Street Advisory Board. Mr. Wade Dillon.
Good evening, Freeport citizens, Mayor Kane, City Council. On Thursday, January 9th, the Freeport Historical Commission and Main Street Advisory Board unanimously selected James Wood as their new board member to faithfully serve the remainder of Clarissa Solis's term until May of 2026. James Wood is a Freeport resident and was the only applicant for the vacant board seat. James Wood is with us here this evening and is a native of California who came to Freeport via Kansas City. James spent nearly 40 years in IT, including another 20 running his own company out of El Segundo, California, a Chevron refinery town. James moved to Kansas to be with Kathy, where he explored a successful side career as a musician. James and Kathy moved to Freeport last year to get back to the beach in an uncrowded, laid-back coastal environment where Kathy could restart her art studio. James, along with Kathy, have both expressed their interest in downtown revitalization and preservation and see the great potential that our historic downtown has. The Freeport Historical Commission and Main Street Advisory Board recommends to City Council the selection of James Wood as their new board member.
Thank you, Wade. Council, I will entertain a motion.
Mayor, I'll make a motion to appoint James Wood to the remainder of the term of Clarissa Solis.
We have a motion to approve by Councilman Matamoros. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Councilman Davis. Any questions or comments, gentlemen?
Any comments from the board member?
You know, I spoke with him at the last meeting that Wade had, and if we get him up here, we're going to be going on till midnight. But I can tell you, just the little interaction that I had with him, really seems to be a great guy, and I think he will do good things for the board.
No.
So, with that, I'll call the vote. All those in favor state aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you. Agenda item 4E, consideration and possible action approving resolution number 2025-2904, appointing a member to the Beautifications and Parks and Recreation Committee. Chief Howell.
Yes, sir, Mayor. So the staff recommends the selection of this individual and approval of the proposed resolution to appoint a qualified person to the Beautification, Parks and Recreation Committee. The Parks and Recreation Committee has a vacancy due to the resignation of Randy Johnson, with his term set to expire May 31st of 2025. This appointment will fill out the remainder of his term. At the time this was all presented, we only had one applicant, Julio Chavez, who applied for the position. It was posted on social media from December 19th through January 10th.
Thank you, Chief. And thank you, Mr. Chavez, for applying. We need more people like you. Council, I will entertain a motion.
Mayor, I'll make a motion to appoint Mr. Julio Chavez to fulfill the term of Randy Johnson.
We have a motion to approve by Councilman Matamoros. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Councilman Pena. Council, any questions or comments?
Yeah, when's the next meeting for that?
It's usually the third Friday of the month. Usually the
Third Friday of the month.
Third Friday.
Third Friday?
So that would be February 21st.
Okay.
So council, I'll call the vote. All those in favor state aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thanks again. Agenda item 4F, consideration and possible action approving the resolution number 2025-2905 for the appointment of the alternate position on the Board of Adjustments. Chief?
Staff recommends selection of the individual and approval of the proposed resolution to appoint a qualified person to the Board of Adjustments. The Board of Adjustment has an alternate position available. The alternate position was previously Shonda Marshall. That expires on May 31st of 2025. At the time that this was all prepared, we had one applicant, Bobby Wall, who did apply for the position. Again, this was also ran on social media from December 19th through January 10th.
Once again, we have but one person applying. I appreciate Mr. Wall applying, but you know, we have a big city, and these boards are pretty important to the city. Okay, so that being said, I will entertain a motion.
Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve Bobby Wall to fulfill the term that expires May 31st, 2025.
We have a motion
As the alternate, sorry.
We have a motion to approve by Councilman Matamoros. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Who won?
I'll let him
Councilman Rosso. Any questions or comments, gentlemen?
know. Is Mr. Wall or is it Mr. or Mrs. Wall on this here? I didn't catch the first name. Bobby? Oh, I'm sorry. Is Mr. Wall here to speak? on his
I'm
own
not
behalf?
sure.
Oh.
So we'll call the vote. All in favor state aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Agenda item 4G, consideration and possible action to accept the FEMA HMGP generator grant for River Place. Ms. Hurst.
Good evening, Council. Staff recommends acceptance of the grant. On January 6, 2025, the city was notified by email that it had been awarded the grant for the amount of $143,000. The project would be completed on or before August 18th of 2025. The city applied for this generator grant project in November of 2021 to provide reimbursement for the purchase and installation of one permanent natural gas 150 kilowatt generator at River Place. The scope of the project includes a natural gas generator to be installed with an automatic transfer switch on a concrete pad. The grant has a 90% federal match and a 10% local cost share. The federal amount eligible for reimbursement is $128,700, and the local share amount is $14,300. The local share amount was not included in the adopted 2024-2025 budget, but it can be funded from the fund balance of Fund 21 Facilities and Grounds.
Thank you, Ms. Hurst. Council, I will entertain a motion.
Mayor, I'm going to make a motion to approve, or to accept the grant and approve the local share amount of $14,300.
We have a motion to approve by Councilman Matamoros. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilman Davis. Any questions or comments, gentlemen? Hearing none, we'll call the vote. All those in favor state aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Agenda item 4H, consideration and possible action to accept the FEMA HMGP generator grant for City Hall.
Staff recommends acceptance of the grant. On January 10th of 2025, the city was notified by email that it had been awarded the grant for the amount of $425,000. The project would be completed on or before August 18th of 2025. The city applied for this generator grant project in November of 2021 to provide reimbursement for the purchase and installation of one permanent natural gas 350 kilowatt generator at City Hall. The scope of the project includes a natural gas generator to be installed with an automatic transfer switch on a concrete pad. This grant has a 90% federal match and a 10% local cost share. The federal amount eligible for reimbursement is $382,500, and the local share amount is $42,500. Again, this local share amount was not included in the 2024-2025 adopted budget, but it can be funded from the fund balance of Fund 21 Facilities and Grounds.
Council, I will entertain a motion.
Mayor, I'll make a motion to accept the grant and to fund the local share amount of $42,500.
We have a motion to approve by Councilman Matamoros. Is there a second?
Y'all second.
Seconded by Councilman Rosso. Any questions or comments, gentlemen? Rudy, we do have a plan in place to run these things on a regular, don't we? All right. I'd hate to have a shiny new toy out there and it not work whenever we need it. So, gentlemen, I will call the vote. All those in favor state aye. Aye. All opposed state nay. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Ms. Hurst. Agenda item 4I, Consideration and possible action ratifying the revised contract between the City of Freeport and Freeze and Nichols for the GLO project number 24-065-007-E164. Ms. Hurst.
Staff recommends ratifying the revised Freeze and Nichols Engineering Services contract for the GLO project. We're just going to say ends in E164. Freeze and Nichols submitted a revised contract to the city staff on January 10th, 2025. Specific language was added in paragraph 3 on page 1 to clarify that this entire contract replaces the executed contract from November 16th, 2022. Freeze and Nichols was awarded the engineering contract on November 16th of 2022 for the GLO grant project ending in E164 for the Avenue F water pump station renovations. It was necessary for Freeze and Nichols to revise the original contract to change the engineering price to align with the project budget for the grant. The original contract was submitted with an engineering fee of $225,495, which was incorrect. The revised contract submitted for your approval this evening has the correct engineering fee of $226,794, which was the correct amount that the grant allows.
Thank you, Ms. Hurst. Council, I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Councilman Pena. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilman Matamoros. Any questions or comments, gentlemen? Legals look this over
Yes, sir.
and you give it blessings?
Yeah, I mean, we're just reducing the cost of the contract for engineering. I mean, that's the ceiling that was allowed under the grant anyways. It was just a mistake on their end, so, yes, sir.
Cool. All right, with that, we'll call the vote. All those in favor state aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you. Agenda item 4J, discuss and take possible action regarding the 2024 and 2025 budget. Council, I am going to make a motion that we table this, not for the reason that I don't want to have discussion, but one of the requirements that we have to put an agenda item on the agenda to be discussed is there has to be some supporting documentation. And in my packet, this is blank.
Yeah, the supporting documentation was the budget. We've had that already.
Mayor, I'll second your motion.
We have a motion to table in a second. I will call the vote. All those in favor state aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
Nay.
Motion carries 3-2.
What was the vote?
3-2.
What was your vote, Mr. Rosso?
Councilman Rosso?
Yeah, I agree.
Councilman Matamoros?
I agree to table. Yep.
And Councilman Davis was a nay, along with Councilman Pena.
So you agree to table it, Councilman Rosso?
Yeah, I said yes.
Agenda item 4K,
Table, right?
discuss and take possible action on agenda rules and guidelines. Once again, I am going to make a motion to table this due to lack of supporting documentation.
And I'll second that motion,
And
Mayor.
a second by Councilman Matamoros. All those in
Wait,
favor?
Mayor, we get to discuss this particular issue here. There's a
We-
motion.
We can discuss the motion, which
Right.
is to table.
Correct. So I want to ask what materials are needed on this particular item here when we're trying to talk about the topic at hand. And so I'm asking legal if what would be required in the case when we're just trying to talk about the guidelines as a whole, do we need to provide the rules the same way we needed to provide the budget?
I explained this earlier, you weren't here.
Okay. Explain it, please.
To me, this is self-policing. The budget item gave me a little more heartburn just because I wasn't 100% sure that could mean a whole lot of things. This one is self-policing. Y'all make the policy, so if there's a motion to table and there's something that y'all want, it's because you want it. It's not a legal issue. You adopted the policy to require supporting documentation upon a motion of a council member seconded by another one before it's placed on the agenda. So we either change the policy or follow the policy, and if you're concerned about what the policy means, y'all are the one who created the policy, so council can tell you essentially what.
Well, you've stated just the obvious, but my question still remains. How do we put this on the agenda to be discussed? I'm tired of all the games about this. Well, now you need to have a little flyer, or you need to have some kind of memo, or you got to have the ordinance that was passed. Which one is it? So that we can make sure that it's on there going forward. And the same question applies for 4J. Please advise. No, I'm asking legal.
Legal, a majority of council is going to rule the day regardless.
No, because we're leaning on the legal precedent or the legal guidance of
What do you, I
Olson
don't,
Olson.
what kind of legal guidance are you talking about? A majority of council will decide whether or not a policy is adopted, whether or not
Right,
we
we're trying to
interpret what is.
We're trying to modify ordinances and resolutions. How do we go about doing that? Give me the exact details on this, because it's a waste of time.
There's two ways. You have a policy that says 2 members of council.
No, it's a waste of time to get this on the agenda when 2 councilmen are asking for it, but then asked at the meeting, not 4 weeks ago when this was asked about, to be then
The
told here
majority
at
of
the
council
meeting.
will override a decision of staff or the mayor when it comes to keeping something off the agenda.
No, I want to ask, what materials need to be added here for the next meeting
I
so
wanna-
that it's not tabled?
That is not a legal question.
I want to know the item summary, the background information, any special considerations, and supporting documentation. You know, this is something, Mr. Pena, that we battled
You're right.
two or three years ago.
Right, as an
You know,
effort
and-
to silence me, correct.
And
I'm
Not,
just
not
trying
to,
bring up-
has
I'm
nothing
just
to
trying
do with silencing you.
It was.
It has to
was.
do with only one person in the council knows what in the hell we're going to be talking about.
Right. Yeah,
And-
but-
and
no,
that's
this
the
has to
person
do-
that wrote
This
it.
has to do with one person
You want-
hiding everything that we want to talk about.
You want us to vote on
No,
something
you
that we
wanna
know
keep hiding things, sir.
absolutely
I'm just trying to bring
nothing
things
about.
forward for transparency.
So-
I need to know what we're going to be going on here going forward, because this little cat and mouse game is getting really tiring when you're saying, well, now we need this summary, and now we need this supporting documentation. And then
So
what's
it-
it going to be at the next one? So I need to know
It's-
exactly what that laundry list is,
It's-
because here's the thing, City Hall staff used to provide that every time a councilman requested an item. The councilman never provided that information,
I have.
ever. And so then the goalposts were moved. And so that's why I'm trying to get this conversation had here at council, so that we can actually discuss what these rules are and if they need to be modified to fit this council.
Well, maybe that's what kind of verbiage you need to put in it.
Well, I appreciate the communication, because, everybody else in this county had a meeting, a makeup meeting, and here we are a month later, and we're only getting the communication to me here now, or the rest of council for that matter, on how we're going to try to play these games.
We ain't playing games, we're playing by the rules.
So we'll.
All
so then
those
for
in
the
favor
17th
state aye.
So for the 17th, then we'll have it where we have to have what items exactly, Mayor?
We have a motion and a second on the floor to table. All those in favor state aye.
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 Jerry, what is the list that you were asking for?
All those opposed,
Nay.
motion carries 3-2. Yeah, hand it to him. Just fill in the blanks if you don't mind. That, ladies and gentlemen, is going to take us, I believe, to executive session. It is now 7:01. I am closing the regular session and opening executive session. Executive session regarding A, consultation with attorney, One, Surfside Water Contract, and two, demand letters for 200 West Second Street pursuant to Section 551.071.
Jarvis.